Welcome, everyone, to this Believe in NFL Draft Prospect podcast. It is a College Gridiron Showcase player spotlight, a post-College Gridiron Showcase spotlight powered by Frog Fuel. Frog Fuel is designed to be the most powerful protein in the world, developed by former Navy SEALs and a Stanford biochemist. Frog Fuel's medical-grade nanohydrolyzed collagen helps athletes recover faster, reduce injuries, and increase strength better than that of whey protein. It also digests 4 times faster than whey isolate and is ready to drink without any mixing. Frog Fuel is proudly made in America and produced by OP2 Labs, a veteran-owned nutrition company based in Fort Worth, Texas. So, of course, College Gridiron Showcase is in the books, but we are still catching up with some guys who obviously experienced a lot of the great things that we think that we bring to Fort Worth, Texas, and obviously to the 2022 NFL Draft Prospect perspective, getting ready for the draft. So having a young man who I was the one, I'm not going to toot my horn too much, but I was the one that did nominate Mr. Westin Elliot, quarterback out of Merrimack, for the event. We got the opportunity to meet him down there. Wanted to hit him up afterwards. He's actually training up here in New Jersey at Test Football Academy with Tony Rasiopi, if anybody is familiar with Tony. Westin, appreciate you popping in, man. How's everything been? Everything's good?
Yeah, for sure. No, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man, absolutely. It was nice to, be able to kind of meet you for a few minutes there down at the College Gridiron Showcase and, kind of follow along because, I just texted Tony the other day asking him about, he he was working with the Northern Illinois quarterback that's actually going back to school. And I was asking him about him. So I'm going to be bugging him soon about it. How's Westin Elliot look, man? Like, be honest with me, shoot me straight. So let's start there, man. I know I want to recap College Gridiron Showcase, obviously, but working with Test, working with Tony Rasiopi, who obviously has a great kind of background as a quarterback coach over there at Test. Just how has that process been since coming back from CGS and also playing at the Tropic Bowl? Yeah,
no, I kind of squeezed everything together there, went straight from CGS to the Tropical Bowl, and then hopped on a plane, went and grabbed my stuff in Boston and drove down on Sunday, started on Monday. So it was kind of hectic, but, it was worth it. And I'm excited to get started. Got to throw with Tony for the first time yesterday, and that went great. Mm-hmm. But you can already tell, the difference it's going to make, in my body. And just being around Tony and guys that, elite football players all day, every day. I just can't wait for that.
For sure, man. And name drop a couple guys, because I know I asked you before we started. Who are a couple guys that you're going to be working out with at Test?
Yeah, a couple QBs are, Kenny Pickett, Dustin Crum, Anthony Russo, Mike Boudre. I might have butchered his last name. And then, there's quite a few other guys, O linemen, D linemen, every position's here at Test. So I'm still meeting some guys. A tight end out of Villanova, Todd Summers, he's here. So I've got a great group of guys.
That's awesome, man. And I know it's really exciting. And to talk to me about this, Westin, because I was a very competitive player. I'm very competitive pretty much in everything I do in life. It's got to be fun because now everybody's talking about, Kenny Pickett, maybe first quarterback off the board. It's got to be cool just to kind of see yourself kind of up next to him, right? To see how you guys kind of throw the football and just kind of the consistency of accuracy and your base and all that type of stuff. Just kind of maybe eyeing, I don't want to call it competition, but eyeing players that people have such high opinion of right now.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. I couldn't be more excited to be able to throw with, the guys that are here, get to work with Tony. Kenny's worked with Tony for a long time. So he's very, in tune to exactly what Tony's wanting. So I think that's going to make my learning process for exactly what Tony's looking for, be a lot quicker than it would be probably if he weren't here. So I'll just be able to watch him and learn, from being able to see him do it. And then obviously, we're all, you have to be an ultimate competitor to be to play in the NFL. So it is a competition every day, but it's a friendly competition. And, we're all here for each other's best interest. And that's what we look out for.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And I'm excited to, again, keep tabs because I'm going to be bugging Tony. We had Tony on the podcast a few months ago when Kenny just started having like his, nice couple games in a row. And he told me then, I'm going to send a shout out to Tony Rasiopi because I know he listens. I know he'll be listening to this one. He is the first one that said Kenny Pickett's going to be the first quarterback selected next year. And I was like, I don't know, man, but he called it. So obviously he has a very good eye for talent. And listen, I want to start you out because usually I begin by asking just kind of career trajectory a little bit. So you are a guy that's a Texas guy originally, and I know that you obviously spent some time at Louisiana Tech. So just kind of take me through the early parts of your career, maybe before we even got to Merrimack.
Yeah, no, I actually, graduated from Midland Christian High School in Texas. Actually went to Blinn Junior College my first year.
Okay.
Was there for one full year. Went to Louisiana Tech, was blessed to have a scholarship to Louisiana Tech, went there under QB coach Tim Rattay and head coach Skip Holtz. Just that that's kind of what drew me into Louisiana Tech was Tim Rattay and Skip Holtz. They're great offensive minds, great QB coaches, or Tim Rattay is a great QB coach. I learned a lot from a guy who played, 10 plus years in the NFL, and had done it. He doesn't just coach it, he's done it. So, and he's done it at the highest level. So my game took a huge jump there in the first 2 years, at Louisiana Tech. And then also Tim Rattay moved on to actually be quarterback coach at the Washington football team. And then Todd Fitch came in, and he was a real X's and O's guy. Very right or wrong, this is the board, very detailed guy. And that grew mentally a lot there. And then he went on to be the offensive coordinator at Vanderbilt. And then Joe Sloan took over for him as my next QB coach, third and final at Louisiana Tech. He was great. He's a great, teammate guy. He's a great, recruiter. That's one thing he does really great. And he taught you how to be a great teammate and, be there for everybody. And just the small things that are hidden in the tiny details that allow you to have great relationships with the people around you.
I love that, man. Let me ask you, because I obviously didn't talk to you about this, because I knew you were a Texas guy, but I didn't know too much about your high school. So Midland Christian, let me take you back there for a second. Mm-hmm. How big of a football city is that? Because I know when I think of Texas, right, like I'm a New Jersey guy, you think of like they're closing every store on Friday night, and it's a religion, all that type of stuff. Like what type of school is from your hometown?
Yeah, no, you got it right. I mean, Friday Night Lights, that's it right there. Permian's in Odessa, and then Midland High and Midland Christian are in Midland. And, those are the three big powerhouses there in Midland. It's exactly what you see on TV and everything, the whole town comes out, and it's a great time, and, couldn't ask for a better high school experience there.
That's awesome. I just love asking that, man, because I always say like, oh, New Jersey football is good. And then people just start laughing at me when they're from Texas, which is pretty funny. So now, obviously, Westin, you end up transferring up to Merrimack, and you have a really nice final season. Obviously, right near 3,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, all conference selection, obviously up there. Take me through that culture shock, though, because you're a Texas guy, you're playing in Louisiana, and now you're coming up to the New England area, man. Like, what was that experience like, your lone year at Merrimack?
Right. Yeah, no, it was unbelievable. I mean, that's how I describe it to everybody, my family. My first weekend there, one of my teammates, Anthony Norsha, who I got really close with, took me to Fenway. We watched the Red Sox play the Yankees.
Nice.
So that was an unbelievable experience. And that was the initial culture shock. And then I guess everything after that just seemed a little bit toned down. It gets pretty crazy at Fenway, but yeah, no, it was great, and the people are unbelievable. Down south, people kind of say, the Northeast people are, a little tough, a little rough around the edges. But no, I definitely gonna have to disagree with that. I got in. Well, I feel like people from the Northeast, once you become friends, it doesn't take long to build a great friendship, and once you're there, it's an unbelievable relationship you have with somebody.
Oh, for sure. And what was it like as far as like weather wise? Because I know you're a warm weather guy, right? And then maybe getting a little bit of snow, getting the cold. Like, what was that like? That's culture shock.
Yeah, no, it was definitely cold. I know that much. I had to make about a 3, 4, 5 minute walk every day to get to the football facility, and I didn't exactly have the right clothes to be making that walk there in December, so had to run and get a couple jackets.
That's funny. That's funny. And I wanted to ask, obviously, you had a phenomenal season. You talked about, obviously, the relationships that you were able to build up here. You got to play a lot of football your final year. What would you say are maybe one or two of your favorite moments? It could be in-game moments or, records you broke. Like, what are some things that when you kind of look back on, you say, like, that's pretty cool at your final year?
Yeah. One of the biggest moments, I actually, after week 3, got an infection in the back of my hand, had to stay in the hospital for five days, ended up coming out of the hospital, stayed in the hospital from Sunday through Thursday, had to get it, a surgery to get it out, and had 8 stitches in the back of my right hand. Got out Thursday, went straight to practice, and as I ran on the field, everybody was calling me, or my nickname up in the Northeast is the Big Cowboy. And I just happened to be coming down right when the stretching lines were doing their chants, and everybody started going nuts and, hooting and hollering and yelling, "Come on, there's the Cowboy." Actually, I don't think anybody expected me to be out there, and I probably didn't either. I can remember sitting in that hospital room thinking, geez, I'm going to miss a week. It's going to be terrible. But no, I actually got to go out there and lead the the little warrior call we have, and it was definitely a big memory from that year. And then on the field, being at Holy Cross, about 10 seconds right there before halftime, found Jakari Carter in the back of the end zone, and that was just my first real FCS challenge there versus a ranked team. Being able to do what I did against them, and then just have my teammates and everybody be so, just ecstatic and so fired up. And, you could just tell the relationship we had throughout that team. And, we just played for each other, and that's what it came down to. And you could really see it right then.
So 2-part question for the next one. Now, obviously you had an opportunity to compete down at the College Gridiron Showcase in Fort Worth, Texas. First, how close is that to your hometown where you grew up? And then second, just how was generally the experience for you?
Yeah, no, it's about 4.5 hours, not too far.
Gotcha.
So Lubbock, I grew up in Lubbock and graduated my senior year in Midland. So it's about 4.5 hours straight west of Fort Worth.
Gotcha.
But the experience was unbelievable. You got to meet a lot of great guys. We actually spent a lot of time at seminars and talking to scouts and interviews, and that was great. And I think that says a lot for CGS, just having those guys there and having such great competition. All the players there were unbelievable.
For sure.
Every day you had to bring it to practice because nobody was giving you an inch. So no, it was great. And after the first day, once we all kind of got a little chemistry between the quarterbacks and receivers, we got rolling there day 2, day 3, and into the scrimmage. So, I enjoyed every second of it. Couldn't ask for a better opportunity to showcase, what I can bring.
And I know a lot of the guys that you're talking to, as far as the scouts, like they're just getting general information on you. They're asking you some particulars, but how was just kind of the relationship building and being able to talk to some of ththose people that make those types of decisions on the next level?
Yeah, no, it was great. And, I actually had quite a few schools teams come through, actually all 32 teams come through Merrimack. So actually I've talked to a couple guys there at CGS and had a prior relationship with 2 guys, and was able to just kind of carry on that relationship. But it was great, and just that learning experience and being able to talk to them and tell them a little bit about who I am and about my story, and kind of tell them why I should be playing for their team. So that was a great opportunity, and it's a good learning process.
And again, it's College Gridiron Showcase exclusive, powered by Fraud Fuel, bringing you an inside look into Westin Elliot, quarterback out of Merrimack. Now, Westin, I want to take you through, because when I watched your film, I'll say my favorite thing about your game is obviously you have the size profile, you have the arm strength needed, all that good stuff, like the unteachable stuff. But my favorite thing is I felt like everything you did and every throw that you just put out there, you threw with conviction. I feel like you're very confident in yourself, which I think that's so important, especially moving into the next level. Like guys that are gun shy don't last. Mm-hmm. But for you, just people that maybe haven't seen you play yet, just describe yourself a little bit as a quarterback, stylistically, mentality-wise. Like, how would you say that? What type of player are you?
Yeah, no, I think that's kind of a cliche thing to say, but I kind of try to mold my game after Tom Brady. Not the fastest guy, that's for dang sure, but I'm definitely a pocket passer. But to be an elite quarterback, I think one of the biggest things that separates you is pocket movement and being able to move in the pocket. You don't have to be fast in a 40-yard dash or 30 yards. You need to be fast for one step or two steps, and be able to manipulate defensive linemen, and that needs to be instinctual. And that was something I worked on a lot at Louisiana Tech. That was a big thing Tim Rattay hashed on every single day. Gaining that instinctual movement in the pocket while being able to manipulate defenders with your eyes. And understand concepts. So I think my game is very mentally based. That's how I play the game. But yeah, I mean, that's how I would describe my game, is just somebody who plays between the 6 inches between their ears. So that's what I pride myself on.
I love that, man. Obviously very important. And I know you mentioned, you got out to Fenway for a Red Sox game, and you just mentioned Tom Brady. Did you get a chance to catch any Patriots games while you were over there or no?
No, I didn't get to. It was during the season, and I actually had one opportunity during Thanksgiving, but that was my first time to be able to see the family and stuff. So didn't end up going. So, gotcha. But yeah, I wish. That's one thing on my bucket list I'm going to have to go back and do.
I love it. And now we're moving forward here. And obviously, like we said, you're working with Test Football Academy with Tony Rassiopi. We went over that a little bit. What does kind of the schedule look like for you, Westin, kind of moving forward? Like how many weeks are you going to be working with Tony and at Test? And when do you have any idea when the pro day is and all that kind of stuff as well?
Yeah, no, I'm working here for 8 weeks. Okay. And then, that should line me up there. Started this Monday. 8 weeks takes me into the middle of March. My pro day is one of the last 2 weeks of March at Merrimack. Okay. And then the plan right now is to also participate in Boston College's pro day. I think that's pretty much a done deal, but I'm not completely sure. I need to make a couple phone calls on that. But
oh, that's great, man. That's great. Obviously, I know, like you said, Merrimack has some good players right there too. I know Mr. McKenzie. I he's not coming out though, right? McKenzie, he's going back.
He's not. Caleb Holden is actually working out at Test. He's placed corner on the other side of McKenzie. And he's an unbelievable player. So
that's awesome, man. Yeah, so there's going to be there's like you said, there's 32 scouts that have already come through Merrimack. There's going to be more eyes there, but then also getting out to Boston College is going to be a big opportunity with all the guys they have coming out. So very happy to hear that. And kind of the last question I have for you, Westin, is, and again, I appreciate the time, the two-parter for you. You mentioned a little bit, kind of the dream of playing in the NFL, and you're a Texas guy, so I'm sure that's kind of been a dream for a long time. So first part of the question is, how long has that been a dream, if you can kind of recollect a little bit? And then the second half would just be, how much of a blessing would it be to know that just in a few months you could be a professional football player?
Yeah, no. To answer the first part, my first word was ball. So, I mean, basically from the time I could walk or pick up a ball, that's all I wanted to do. I can remember being 3, 4, 5 years old and just always wanting to throw a football. I can going into kindergarten for sure. I mean, every year for my whole life, I know all I can think, or, when the teachers ask the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? Everybody's saying doctors and lawyers, and I'm saying quarterback or NBA player. So those were my two options I had in my brain. But yeah, it's just, I guess surreal is, you've worked your whole life to get to this point, and it's just crazy that the opportunity's right there ahead of you and or ahead of myself, and all I have to do is go grab it. So, I couldn't be more excited for the opportunity to play. One scout told me it's just football. You played high school football, you played college football. So, I just want to play football. And that's what it is at the end of the day, and that's what I love to do, and that's what my passion is. So couldn't be more excited to play football at the highest level. And, if I get that opportunity, going to do everything in my power to make the absolute most of it. So.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate, again, the time here. I'm joined by Westin Elliot for this College Gridiron Showcase, exclusive powered by Frog Fuel. Make sure to check out frogfuel.com. Westin, this was fantastic, man. I know we got to meet briefly, obviously, down at CGS, but this was great, just kind of getting a little more of the backstory, brother. I really appreciate you taking time out of the schedule because I know it's a very hectic schedule right now.
Yeah, it is. But, no, thank you so much for having me on, Ryan. It was a pleasure to meet you down there, and hopefully we stay in touch.